Hi guys, Grant here. A different style of video for you guys today. So, the Rise of the Underdog series is still very much running on Gain Seekers. But what myself and my coach Afsa decided we wanted to do was bring you a more in-depth view into what's involved with a weekly check-in. Now, what I mean by that is not just a matter of sending him my pictures and sending him my weight, but actually what markers do we look at throughout the course of the week and on that day to indicate whether it has been full success or there's things that we need to refine or improve or change. We don't get it right every single time. Now, what we hope to do with these videos is bring you highlights of my training throughout the week, any markers, by markers I mean the aspects that we look quite in depth into throughout the course of the week as to whether these markers are being hit, whether there's certain things that are missed, things that we've changed as to why, and basically just to sort of break it down to you guys so you can see what it really is like on a day in, day out basis for someone such as myself that is trying to pack on as much tissue as possible. Now, some of you might think, do you know what, eat loads of high calorie foods, loads of takeaways, you'll stack on the weight. Job done. Well, do you know what, I really wish it was as simple as that. But what AFSA is having to be very, very careful with me, obviously, of course, is that because I am pushing to, potentially get as big as possible, that it would be all too easy just to do that with me. I would put on loads and loads of weight, and ironically, that's why I found myself needing a coach in the first place, because I did the bulking thing very, very well, but it was dirty bulking, and the quality of my physique underneath obviously was lacking. So this time around, what we're doing is putting on as much lean tissue as possible, and there is quite a few things that we have to look at whilst we do this, whilst we increase my weight. So typically on a Saturday morning, I will send AFSA an email. In that email, it will have various different aspects of my well-being and these markers that I talk of to give AFSA a download as to what's happened throughout the course of the week, how I feel, my health, etc., etc. This is accompanied with pictures. Now, pictures, it's quite easy to tell what's going on with the body. Am I leaner? Am I bigger? Am I more vascular? How cut am I? What's the overall condition of my body? Do I look dehydrated? And just to see, to make sure that I'm actually progressing in the right way. I could send him an email saying I've gained 5 pounds and send him a picture and he might think, well, that's 5 pounds you don't look any better for having. So we need to do something about it. But in the remainder of the email is what I really want to give you guys an insight into. So first things first, I will send him my weight. At this present moment in time, we are looking to push my body to a competitive season of competing bodybuilding next year. So at this point in time, we're bulking. We're trying to put on as much weight as possible. Well, as much lean tissue as possible. So I will send him my weight. Ideally, week on week, I will put on weight. It is not a race. So if I put on half a pound, if I put on a pound, it's the overall gain, is my body still looking better? Am I bigger? Am I stronger? If it only sort of shows itself as half a pound gain, it's only half a pound gain. Some weeks it might be 2 or 3 pounds based on what's been changed. So the next thing I look at, digestion. You are what you can digest, not necessarily what you can eat. Digestion is one of the most, if not the most important marker, because you can only put on weight by putting in the food. Yes, you go training, but if you train and you're not putting in the fuel, you're not going to get any size whatsoever. So it's the food that's going in. Am I digesting it all? How is my belly? Am I bloated? If I'm bloated, when do I get bloated? Am I still hungry? That's obviously then linked to my metabolism. How hungry am I? Am I having to force the food down? Is it a struggle? Am I still starving? Did I hit all my meals at the right time span, etc., etc. Next thing, which some would argue is equally as important as digestion, or more important, is hydration. The body cannot do what it needs to do without effective hydration. That is for cognitive ability, that is for overall, sort of brain function. You've got obviously muscle function. in combination what brings nutrients to and from the muscles. It's what helps excretion of and dilutes things like lactic acid and any waste products that's coming away from the tissue. So all very, very important that you stay hydrated. Thirdly, we look at my training. So how has my training been over the week? Was I able to push any more weight? Was there more reps? Was there any remarkable injuries that I picked up, or abnormalities, or anything that I noticed that was an issue? For example, this last week, I have put a light bit of strain into my tricep, but I've also had some physio style work to help relieve some tension that I had built up in my shoulder. Injuries happen. You know, when you're pushing big weights, injuries will happen, and we're going to show you guys sort of the bare bones of it and the real side of it. You know, too often a camera follows a bodybuilder around and it's all hunky dory. He picked up the biggest weight and nothing went wrong and it was fantastic. Chances are I am going to pick up an injury or two, but you guys are going to see this. The next thing we look at is my cardio, really. So did I do the correct amount of cardio? At the moment, I'm meant to be doing cardio morning and evening at least 5 times a week. Now, the first one and second one really are not there for overall fitness. Like, I don't need to be going for a jog or anything like that. It's to make sure my metabolism stays fired. And by what I mean by that is that I'm going to be able to keep digesting and keep taking down all the extra food that AFSA wants to throw at me. It means that I'm less likely to put on unnecessary fat. It keeps me in good condition whilst I am still putting on the muscle. Obviously, of course, it goes without saying that it's better for your heart health. It's better for your overall condition. Well, I mean, not necessarily muscular condition, but your overall physical health. And aside from anything else, it gives you time to collect your thoughts and feelings. It gives you time to set out the day and prepare in the morning. Equally, close down the day mentally at the end of it. And if you've had any anguish, you know, hopefully leave it aside and then you can go to bed. The last thing is more really a wrap up. You know, how do I feel that I progress throughout the week? Is there any notable things that I want to address? Anything that I have noticed with the week that is worth bringing up? For example, this last week, I had a bit of trouble with my digestion, but I felt it might have been to do with my supplementation. For example, I might have not responded too well to some magnesium that I took. And these are all things, the trials and tribulations that you have in trying to put on the tissue. Now, I'm currently at 232 pounds or 231 pounds, based on whether you look at it whatever time of day. Now, the idea is that we get as close to 250 as we can, or as high a weight as we physically can, whilst maintaining a good condition. We're not going to let the train run away and just become a big fat blob, because we're just going to have to do more work on the other side. So, hopefully, what we're going to do is we're going to go over a check-in, week in, week out. We're going to show you some highlights of me throwing around some big weight. Hopefully I don't hurt myself too much. And I really, really hope you all subscribe to the progress, and we'd really appreciate all of your comments. Thank you. Bye-bye.